All right. I am live and waiting for Captain Sieber to start off episode 2 of. All right. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, Z. You got in here before Jeff did. What's up, everybody? Just waiting for Captain Sieber, El Jefe. And here he is, Captain Sieber. Drum roll. Yeah, Z, you win. You win all the time, though. He's got to know that. Hey, there he is.
Here's our guy.
There he is.
How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
It's forever. God, not forever.
It feels like it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Yo, Is This Podcast Tiki with Captain Sieber and Olmac. Ba-bam, ba-bam.
Yo, I-T-P-T?
Yo, ITPT.
Yo, I-T-P-T. Yeah, that works.
You gotta end it on a question, like yo, ITPT.
Yo, I-P-T. I'm going to need to practice it. I had practiced all week. I could be better at it.
Too much rum. Rum.
I'm full of rum and coffee right now, Mac.
Speaking of rum, I'm drinking a beer from Trademark Brewing.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking out of a barrel.
Hell yeah. Is that the warehouse barrel?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
You know the deal.
Holding all my squeeze right there.
Oh, that's classy.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Scott.
What's up, Scott?
A buddy of ours who would attend the Tonga Hut when it was open.
Nice.
We got onto the Grog Log, which is another event. That's something we should absolutely talk about.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yes, Grog Log.
That experience. Or any of the logs or those journeys that you can go on in these restaurants.
I'm so jealous that you've been able to do one. I just don't live close enough to a tiki bar that does that.
Yeah.
So jealous.
It's a great thing to have. For those who don't know, it's basically like a drinking journey, an adventure where you have, from the day you start, a year to finish drinking, roughly, in this case, 76 beverages off a secret menu. And then you get your name on the wall, and you get to customize a plaque that you put on the wall. And I think you get you get a necklace, and you get $1 off going forward.
Oh, did you get
everything there? Yeah.
I don't think you ever showed me the necklace.
I've got it hung up on the Tiki art wall.
Nice.
Because I haven't. It's not something I'm going to wear around. I mean, I could. I honestly should.
Big?
I worked hard enough for it.
What is it? What's it look like?
It's like a circle,
uh-huh.
And it's made out of carved wood-ish, and it says "buck off." But the B is a little bit suspect, so it kind of could be interpreted as "fuck off" as well, which I also don't mind.
Say all the time.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think you. Oh wait, you froze. Are you back?
Of why that's tiki. A lot of people.
Okay.
So it's delaying for me.
Okay, you're back now. I think we're good now. Keep moving.
We in?
Oh no, you're frozen again.
Yeah, you look good.
Wait.
You're good.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. We're good.
We're both good. Good. We're pros. So, what a lot of people had asked me after the week before, they asked me, Jeff, why are you doing this? What is this? How dare you do this? Those sorts of questions. And after the fact, they were like, that was cool. That was a great thing I watched, but what the heck is Tiki? I had not really figured that so many people outside of SoCal, or, it's very much a SoCal invention and culture that has since spawned and traversed the country and other places.
Yeah.
But we are spoiled with our exposure to it.
And it's basically just I wake up, I think about Tiki. it's like the whole thing going on for me. So it didn't even occur to me that other people would be like, "What is that?"
Yeah, how would you even define it to begin with? Because we could take, in our opinion and in our levels of expertise, what would qualify. We'd know it when we see it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's tougher, I guess, to explain that if you've never been to like a legit tiki bar, if your exposure is just, aloha shirts, which is
Right.
fine, but I can understand where the confusion would be. And what I think people need to know, for the most part, is that tiki, or the proper name is Polynesian pop, but we wanted a catchier. That's as an official term, that's what it is. But it was invented in the 30s by a guy named Don Beach, whose original name was Ernest Raymond Beaumont Grant, which
Great
is,
name. Can't
yeah,
believe it didn't keep that one.
very. And he just created more or less a movement of rum and tropical drinks from his travels around the world as a young adult. He brought them back to Hollywood. He opened a bar. That bar took off because at the time, there were a few factors, but at the time, people were shocked and amazed at this sort of exotica, as it were. And then there was also the effect of prohibition had just ended and people wanted to get smashed.
Yep.
So then when you have the legit tiki concoctions that are like 4 shots of rum in some of them, people are going to enjoy that after forced sobriety.
Definitely. And even to go back further, Tiki originally in now my memory is terrible, so just trying to regurgitate stuff doesn't always work the best. But um, Tiki in Polynesian myths was almost like Adam from the Bible, where he was this sort of like half man, half deity. Um, and so then in that culture, they would carve uh, like idols of their ancestors and stuff, which all kind of just ended up melting down into anything that was like a human form carved was a tiki.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where that all originally began. And then with European explorers finding, you know, all these like Pacific islands and stuff before any of uh before any of the other like white man had kind of come across this. um they I was reading all about this in my Tiki Pop book from Sven Kirsten today.
He's
uh
a genius. He's a urban archaeologist. I don't know why I'm using quotes, but that's his official title.
um yeah, anyway, I'm rambling, but
I
yeah.
think it's good. I think I learned a lot just now. What it the big thing, and I've gotten every question from like, is it appropriation? Is it like, what exactly is it? Is it different from like, you look at sort of vacay chic, like there is that sort of tiki ish where it's like beachy stuff is not the same officially as Polynesian pop would be.
Right.
And as far as appropriation goes, there have been examples throughout history that I won't name, but for the most part, in my experiences, people have been mostly celebrating these items, these outfits, drinks, and especially the first initial 1930s occasions of Polynesian pop by Don the Beachcomber, Trader Vic, etc.
Yeah.
Created and made a lot of stuff in current culture acceptable and like mainstream. Like
Yeah.
they were responsible for it.
Yeah.
The crab rangoon, which you can get at any Chinese buffet at the restaurants in my hometown in very upstate northern New York, have it, which is baffling to me that this was just a menu item created in the 30s that has since traversed
Yeah.
so many lives.
Yep.
Mike Siebert is asking, so does that make imperialism tiki? I would say no. I think as soon as, because that is legit you are putting your culture on them. This is a celebration of these sorts of dynamics as well as the escapism of a tiki bar.
Yeah, a lot of people viewed what these European explorers brought back as like seeing the natives, live off the land and like literally be naked because of the just the weather out there. The climate is so mild and such. So it's like they almost viewed this as, when they were viewing from their religious beliefs, as like Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden and now, man can't have that anymore. Once these explorers brought it back, they're like, oh my God, this is still existing. Like we want to be part of this as well.
Yeah.
And then, ultimately over the years, it really just boiled down to Americans being like, oh my God, this is, going to the islands and just experiencing this, especially when like Hawaii became a state. You know, you really do get escapism and this like leisurely lifestyle of not, being in the city, which is why a lot of this tiki culture came to, cities like this. And that's why way back in the day, you saw it on like, apartment buildings and motels and stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
sort of like, hey, it's this island lifestyle. If you live here, if you stay here, if you eat here.
Yep.
And especially because the tikis by that time were all sort of looked at as like a good luck charm almost. So it's
Good
like
luck charm. It was a hip thing of the time. It was
Yeah.
like a statement piece. There were, again, a pineapple was not readily available through the 30s, even 40s. I'm not sure of the exact time. You could go to Vaughn's or the grocery store and pick one up just off the shelf. But that was something that there were businesses who would rent them out for you at parties.
Yeah.
Because they were so exotic and it was the thing to have. It was also worth noting that once you got into like the tiki went exactly, butting heads with the sort of stuffy drink culture. Like it's rare to be in a tiki bar and see a guy in a suit.
Right.
Which it happens. Like it depends on the suit. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but versus like the martini bars or the very classy, like your Scotch establishments. You go to a tiki bar
The Don Draper stuff.
Exactly. Very much antithesis to that, and was part of the reason it took off as a movement, because people were like, oh, not only does this have 12 times the ingredients of my gin martini, but the people throwing it together. If you're in Tonga Hut, I enjoy watching the bartenders work because they're just splashing stuff around, chopping, throwing stuff, setting stuff on fire, versus the very like clean and like controlled environment of the other, not classy, but the
Right.
stuck up, but the other bars.
Plus fun mugs.
Fun mugs. That's a big part. Plenty of those.
I'm not trying to drink out of a martini glass. I'm trying to drink out of the fish.
The martini glass has its purpose. I, as a big martini fan, totally understand it. Love how they do it. For the first, I want to say 3 times I went to Tonga Hut, I would order just martinis. Which I didn't assume was a slap in the face. More so that I was like, I'm going to give these bartenders a break from the 15 ingredient cocktails that they're putting together. I'm going to give them their own oasis. I feel like that would be a breath of fresh air for just a minute. But then I tried their drinks and I was like, oh, there's something to these rummy, fruity, tropical elixirs.
Yeah. One of my cousins asked, is Vaughn's Tiki?
I think they fit purely in the commerce supermarket genre. They're in, because it's like, is supermarket sweeps Tiki?
Is Trader Joe's Tiki?
They they're on. They would score higher than Vaughn's on
Yeah,
our bit because
I
of
would.
the Hawaiian shirt. There's with their interior, which we're gonna get into this. You're gonna have to listen to all of these episodes and like pick and choose the parts that actually teach you something. But Trader Joe's does have the vibe. Besides like the windows at the front, you're pretty much in what is an environment that they've cultivated to look very, very contained. You know, like it's a very different experience than the rest of the buildings nearby.
Trader
They,
Joe's is German? I didn't know that.
this is, I have not Googled that. This is the extent of my knowledge on Trader Joe's. But the trader term is Tiki, is Polynesian pop, with Trader Vic being one of the founders.
Yep.
Who would trade for display and merchandise and stuff. For what?
Mai Tais.
Mai Tais. No, he invented them, but yeah.
I don't know if you follow Trader Vic's on Instagram or anything, but they have a really neat store where they sell like legitimate tiki masks, like legitimate, like legit stuff. You know, a couple $100, whatever, here and there. But yeah, I'm always surprised there. I'm like, oh wow, it's funny because so when I first moved to LA, I was working at the Yard House in downtown LA. Pardon me, at LA Live, and in that same complex, like 2 doors down from us, there was a Trader Vic's, and I always wrote it off as like, wow, that's like super lame. You know, who's trying to have a big sugary drink with like a bunch of stuff coming out of it, you know, and
yeah,
like literally, I probably went in there twice just with some other people from work or whatever, but I definitely did not experience it, and they were always dead every time I went in there.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And
location's kind of tough, I guess.
yeah, and I mean, granted, too, that was like a decade ago. You know, that was 2011 and 12 and such. So it's like I feel like this kind of new wave of tiki really picked up maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, where
yeah,
really started to ramp back up.
Others may disagree with that time frame, but yeah, it was because
Yeah,
it's been ebb and flow a lot. Like it was big in the 30s, 40s, dropped out a bit through the 60s, 70s, 80s. It was nearly eradicated, and then 90s, 2000s started to come back up again. Just the way anything kind of goes.
Anything worth looking at.
But I like what kind of attracted me to it was being in an environment. In fact, all of the tiki bars I've been in are kind of dark, which I like because I don't need to be blasted with light. As an opposite to the Buffalo Wild Wings or the sports bars or whatever you're in, which are all fine, but depending on what you're looking for, I like that dark, cool escape. Yeah, and I also like to wear a shirt that breathes in the SoCal heat. Yeah. And also, if I spill something on it, nobody can tell, which happens 1 out of 3 times.
Just adds to the pattern.
No one's gonna notice. It's fine. It's already so busy. It could be covered in stains.
And it is.
And it is.
And I mean, to your point, that's, dark tiki bars. Most tiki bars, it's, from my understanding, it's kind of an unwritten rule that tiki bars shouldn't have any windows. It really
I've heard that.
If I'm sitting out on Lincoln Boulevard at a tiki bar, I'm not trying to be sipping my Mai Tai and look out the window and see a bunch of cars driving past. Like, I want to be in it. I want to be, I want to hear the music.
I want the full escape.
Yeah, I want the full escape.
Creepers Cove says that's where Trader and Trader Vic's comes from. The traders would have people in the Navy bring back items from these Polynesian islands that they would sell to clients and high-profile guests.
Word. Ian's got the knowledge, bro.
Yeah. It's so bizarre. As I've said before, it's tough to name one other person who impacted the world through drinking to such a degree, minus, Joey Budweiser and, Matt Gregor's Scotch. You know, those guys.
you, you know those guys.
You could make a case that James Bond impacted the world via vodka martinis, but he's a fictional person. It was a group effort between Smirnoff and the movie industry at that time to get that sort of drink on the market,
Oh,
as well as, you know, a number of factors. But these guys are the OGs. Did
yeah.
you see this? What Mike Seabread is asking?
Oh, what's the weirdest ingredient you've seen in a tiki cocktail?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
I have had a couple hundred, so you'd think I'd have a better answer to that. But let me, you'd think I'd have an immediate one. I, there was, I won't say where it was, and I won't say who the bartender was in case it's a secret one. Uh, the weirdest was sesame oil in a drink that was fantastic when I tried it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the worst one had, I think, sweet vermouth, dry vermouth, and Pernod, Pernod, however you pronounce that.
Yeah, Pernod, I think.
Pernod, those three together in a drink on the Grog Log at Tonga Hut, which was one of the classic, you know, old tiki drinks that the bartenders themselves were like, this is one of the worst ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, it tasted like pennies
Ooh.
all together, which is a weird sensation. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I think the like most out of character thing I've ever had in a tiki drink was cold brew coffee,
Yeah, I've had
and
that.
that was fire.
That's a weird ride.
Man, really took the whole drink in like a different direction, but it was still really primo.
Yeah. I've had butter in hot buttered rum at the
Oh
same,
yeah, so
which
good.
is, yeah, that's fantastic. That's less weird, but you don't see butter often in a drink.
No, you really don't. Ian said that his buddy made a jerk syrup. That sounds wild.
That's fun.
I would definitely check that out. I love
It's,
tiki drinks, and you really don't see a lot of that like hot spice in tiki drinks.
no, you'll see cinnamon, you'll see, you know,
Nutmeg, Don's mix.
ginger-ish,
Yeah,
but that's a sort of, that's the future of that sort of this whole tiki movement, because it wasn't, you know, it was founded and they were like, it's lime juice, it's orange juice, it's pineapple, and it's passion fruit. And then it expanded beyond that with other people as they made their contributions. And it's up to, honestly, the customers and the audience as to what stands the test of time.
totally. And
If it's not tasty, it won't make it.
no, and you know, like these days too, especially with such a huge just craft cocktail scene being, you know, so on the rise, and really those two things just like mashing together, you get all kinds of crazy stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
if you go, I know I talk about it all the time, but Undertow, my favorite bar down in Phoenix, um, man, they just have like their mixology cats there are off the charts, smoking stuff, and you know, it's so good.
Smoking stuff. Smoking tails, bro.
It's a throwback. We're right back to the Scorpion Bowl, right?
That's right, too. There was a show that Matt and I watched way back in the day called Urban Tarzan, where I am 90% sure it was scripted, but regardless, it was, I don't know. I'm not that positive. But they would go around solving animal-related, like, mishaps, and they were always exotic. You could make a case for this show one way or another. I don't think it's tiki, but at one point he gets a call. They always had calls. I don't know what degree of, like, service they were in the phone book, but they would show up, and they showed up at one guy's house.
They're like Dog the Bounty Hunter, but for animals.
Yeah, it was like ghost hunters, but the people were still there, and they were like, our pet chimpanzee has gotten into the alcohol, and he got my husband's handgun, which was an actual thing.
So there's a mug maker, Lost Temple Traders, who have a mug that is, I think it's called the Camp Raider mug, and it's a chimp sitting on a box with a pith helmet holding a pistol.
Oh, well, that is first of all, great mug.
Great
Second,
mug.
I'm
So
pretty sure
couldn't
a
get
reference.
edition of it.
I think that's a Jungle Cruise reference.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
It's great.
I've been on it a few times, but
Monkey
I'm
with a
pretty
gun.
sure. Yeah, because there's a scene where they have the gun. They're figuring it out.
Been a long time since I've been on the cruise.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
They're changing it too.
That's what I heard, but I heard they were changing it sort of. I specifically heard they were changing it not to make it more like the upcoming movie with The Rock.
Yes, that is correct. I think they're removing some of the questionable or problematic bits, such as like the natives rushing and possibly attacking you, which sends a tough message, I feel.
Probably.
I'm not, Disney usually gets it right. They'll figure it out ride-wise. I'm for it. Any which way.
Yeah, I love it.
Your Creeper's Cove is saying that's the beauty of the Tiki cocktail. You can put literally anything in there as long as the flavor profiles are balanced. All about the precision and balance. That is absolutely true. And it's come a long way from the foundation that was created by the people that we've named previously and those that have continued it throughout the decades.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a lot of just what's going to work. What are you going to try? What do you envision? And what's going to taste good?
Yeah. Speaking of the people who, of those people, Don the Beachcomber's birthday was 2 days ago. Is that right?
Yes, that sounds right.
No, 2 or 3. Very cool. Very cool.
Very topical.
I just saw that there is a documentary coming out on him called, I wrote this down, The Dawn of Tiki, like Donn.
Oh, right. Now I get
it. But I watched the trailer for it. Looks really, really great. Everybody on my feed was just reposting it like crazy. But I'm very much looking forward to that. I will definitely be checking that one out.
What streaming service is that on, Mac? And do they sponsor us?
It might just be on Instagram. I don't know. And I think they sponsor us.
That sounds right. We are rolling in sponsorship. We don't like to usually talk about it, but it's true.
This one was, today's podcast was brought to us by Flor de Caña, which just arrived, special delivery from Captain Siebert for me today.
That's true.
What a champion.
Yeah, well, looking out for my guy. It's good stuff, though. If you are looking for a type of rum, this is one that if you want to avoid Cap Morgan or even Bacardi, not that they can't sponsor us too, but Florida Can is what I would go for if you're in the market.
If they're listening and want to sponsor us.
If Florida Can, if you want to sponsor us, we're open to it. And Bacardi and Cap Morgan, prove me wrong, send us some booze. Send us some booze and maybe we'll change our tune. We're just gonna bully and get either sponsorship or blacklisted. It's tough to say.
It's all about the strong arm for sponsorships, as far as I'm aware.
That is true.
Yeah.
What were some questions you got now? I think we've explained a good amount of Tiki.
Yeah.
Polynesian pop. How it goes. I'll probably have more questions coming into this next episode, but
so I got a handful of just topics to discuss whether or not are Tiki, and then I got one question that isn't directly Tiki, but it was from Robert from Radio Wastelands, who, just to jump in for a second, is him and Ian from Creeper's Cove here have a podcast and that I'm going to be on next week.
Oh, shit.
Forward to that. Yeah, Radio Wasteland. That'll be cool.
When's that happening?
Ska and horror movies and Tiki and all that jazz. So next Tuesday.
That's a great concept.
Yeah. It's a super fun podcast. Same thing on here, Instagram, all that jazz. Real good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Robert asked if you could travel to any point in time or space, where or when would it be?
Ugh, that's deep. That's that's potentially a long answer. I, you know, it's either going to be 40 years ago or 900 years in the future. It's for me, that's the only way.
All right.
I never think about it too much in terms of time. I seeing dinosaurs would be insane, and how the world had changed, and then I would die instantly because I was not equipped to handle the atmosphere as it was then, or whatever the oxygen may have been.
No
But
rum
that's
either, so
no rum. Rum is one of the most recent spirits to be created and drank by humans when you consider the actual history of alcohol.
is it really?
True story. It was like in the 15th, 16th, 17th century finally came apart, as opposed to wine here that were early on. Tequila, I think, even predates it.
Interesting. I think my answer to it would be, I think I've got two answers. I think one, when the pyramids were being built, big fan of
Sure.
ancient Egypt, and just to like really know the answer to that question would be really, really neat. I'm so obsessed with the pyramids, anything with like passageways and trapdoors, and they probably didn't have all that, but you know, it's fun in my head. Or one thing I was just reading in my Tiki Pop book, when these European explorers were like landing on the islands and just seeing how all of these just the completely different world that they were, you know, living in, which kind of that would be the moment that really sparked Tiki, right? When one culture met the other culture and then brought it back.
Yeah, it was kind of that, but plus the advent or the removal of prohibition, the end of World War One, the Great Depression. People just needed a drink, and these people supplied it in a way that it hadn't been available prior, which was shitloads of rum that people still don't completely understand, and tropical juices and cultures that they otherwise wouldn't have experienced if not for these people. Anyway, I want to change my answer to I'd go back in time and I would save the dodo bird. That's my new answer.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah. I'd go back and stop those explorers.
Huh?
I would stop those explorers from murdering and eating them all, because they must have been delicious if they hunted them to that degree.
Right. Dodo bird, one of the sort of mascots of Undertow, best bar in Phoenix.
It's Tiki.
Anyways.
Count it.
Ian is asking, what's your favorite dipping sauce?
Oh, boy. I mean, it kind of depends what I'm dipping, to be honest. I don't think I'm a huge dipper. I'm kind of boring in the sense of, like, ketchup, steak sauce, blue cheese. It depends.
Word. Fair.
I'm sorry, it's not a better answer.
I'd probably say, I think overall, I think my favorite dipping sauces would be either barbecue sauce or honey mustard.
Great. Classics.
Big fan of the like double dip with those too. Woo.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game changer.
I'll have to try it. Like I said, not a big dipping guy. Maybe I should be.
Maybe we should start putting some in tiki drinks.
Maybe I need... I feel like they have enough going on in their Mac. There are 15 ingredient drinks out there of just a half ounce of this stuff. Otherwise, it's completely different.
Yep. I had
Scope says, Captain, expand those horizons. I will now. I'm gonna go back in time and make myself try more dipping sauce.
Like sweet chili, right, for the crab rangoons.
Can't go wrong with that.
Sweet chili's what's up.
Yeah.
My My buddy's band, who I assume this is my buddy answering the question, asks if Argyle is Tiki. I don't think
No,
so.
no, it's that pattern.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Unless they know a pirate named Argyle, I'm pretty sure that we can rule that one off as not Tiki. Is that's more of a establishment type. It's a suit thing. It's like I don't think so.
The only other thing I was thinking was Bruce Willis's limo driver from the original Die Hard's name was Argyle. Also, not really Tiki.
Okay, well that's a Christmas movie, so
Yes,
that's that's gonna be less. That's in that vein.
right. Although sometimes you get those like wild, blowout Tiki parties, but that all comes with the terrorism and the murder, which we covered last time. Not Tiki.
No, yeah. Thank you for repeating it. Thank you for letting the audience know that murder is not Tiki. I'm glad we can establish that for the record. Again, if we have to say it every episode, I'm fine with that. I'm glad to continue saying that. If we have to open with that, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. We should change the name of the podcast to Murder is Not Tiki.
Murder is not Tiki. But is this Tiki?
But is this?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
The rest, I mean, as far as Die Hard is concerned, we can save that for the holiday episode because I do think there is a bizarre amount of linkage to. It's just like the Santa who's always surfing and relaxing and in like swim trunks. Like, I guess that's still vacation chic. And
Yeah.
less so Polynesian pop in the sense of he has a Hawaiian shirt, but he's not with Tiki, he's not with fish traps, or he's not with the usual other fare that goes with it.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be Tiki adjacent. He seems to be this far from a Tiki bar for the most part. And I usually get, there's several mugs you can find that exist that are just Tiki Santa Claus.
Yeah. I've got one. You gave me one.
I did give you one.
Yep. Yeah, what up?
Yeah.
Ian asked, pineapple on pizza. Is it Tiki?
Yeah, I think so.
I can go
with got ham usually.
Yeah, especially a Hawaiian pizza.
Which is very in the vein. I would be shocked to be at any Tiki bar that served pizza or at a Tiki party. I guess we'll say a Tiki party because a restaurant is a different situation. But a Tiki party, if you're serving pizza and you're not kosher, you should throw ham and pineapple on that. If you're vegetarian, just pineapple. But I think that qualifies.
Yeah, I think so too. Goes for flatbread too, right? You probably see flatbread at some Tiki parties.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
I can't wait till that point in the pot when we're like 20 weeks in. It's just fine. Who cares?
It's Tiki.
Sure. I don't care. We'll never reach that point. I'm just kidding.
My buddy Trent hit us with 3 things. First off, cocaine. I don't think it's Tiki. Not Tiki.
Okay, I guess we have to state that we are anti-murder and anti-hard drug use in this podcast. Or at the very least, cocaine is not Tiki and murder is not Tiki.
Yep.
Just for the record, I guess we can state that.
Also, murder for cocaine.
Don't do it.
Not Tiki. That's a 0.
But Scarface. No, he's not Tiki. No,
Nope.
Sorry.
Well, he does wear some Aloha shirts.
I've never seen it.
It's exactly like the Crudes.
I'll add it to the list. I'm gonna watch it.
Second thing Trent asks, The Rock. Is The Rock treat?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's sort of inherently Tiki,
I
right?
think he's Samoan, if I recall.
Yeah.
So, like, by the literal dictionary definition, is Tiki.
Moana.
Yeah,
Tiki. I mean, he plays Maui.
I mean,
It's about
and
as Tiki get.
he can qualify into a number of. He's also an action hero. Not that you can't be an action hero in Tiki. Not that you can't be a wrestler in Tiki. But The Rock covers a lot of bases. But least of all is Tiki, for sure.
Yes. I'm also not entirely sure what Trent meant, if he meant the wrestler or if he meant the Nick Cage and Sean Connery movie The Rock, which is not really Tiki.
There you go.
But Nick Cage was in the Croods. So,
Well, Nick Cage is another one that transcends a lot of sort of labels. But whether he's this, that, or the other thing remains to be seen.
that is a great equation you got there. That was Rock equals Island, Tiki Drink, and Moai. What's up, Jakey? And so the last thing that Trent asked, the Muppets. Are the Muppets Tiki?
I feel like did we have this question before?
No, but we did sort of touch on it a little bit last time. A little bit.
People want to know our stance on the Muppets, regarding Tiki or not. They will not rest till we give an answer. I think they have Tiki, like productions, but they are not themselves Tiki. They are Muppets, which is its own thing, spawned its own bit, stands alone, and does a lot of like the Muppet Christmas Carol is not inherently Tiki in any way. It's Christmas, but same as like the Muppets Take Manhattan or the Muppets movie with Jason Segel are all not Tiki. Muppet
But
Treasure
your brother,
Island, you can make a case. Huh?
your brother, right? Muppet Treasure Island, very Tiki.
Yeah. I'm not
Also,
seeing comments scroll anymore on my feed. I don't know why, but you're going to have to field these.
I'm on it. Also, they did that cover of Kokomo.
Ugh,
So good.
that's great. Yeah. I think that was part of my introduction to two things at once, which was the Muppets and Tiki.
Yes. So,
But, I mean, vacay chic / Tiki.
yeah, Ian's right here. Again, Tiki adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't hate to see it, but it's not the most. It doesn't score the highest, 1,000 points on our chart.
Somewhere
It's
down.
in the 700 to 800s, probably.
Yeah, I give you that.
Mid 7s.
What's up, Jess? Yeah. Your brother also asked, what's the most Tiki bar snack?
Oh, well.
Or what's the most Tiki bar snack? I'm not really sure where I break up that sentence.
Yeah. Well, imagine growing up with him. So,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's great. The, as far as Tiki food is concerned, the OGs were like the crab rangoon, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
The rumaki, which I've never had, but is a dish, I guess, that was created by Don.
Unfamiliar. What is it?
I'd Google it, but I'm talking into my Google device as we speak. So if someone out there knows, please tell us. Otherwise, it's, I would say like seafood maybe up there.
Uh-huh.
We had gotten, I had gotten very much like Pavlovian with Tonga Hut and the taco cart that was outside it. And every night, every event, and I would have to eat these street tacos that they were just making on their little stove every time. And so even talking about it makes me hungry, but if I'm drinking, it went really well together. Like it wouldn't, if they were making
tacos.
What's that?
And they made great tacos.
Yeah.
I love that spot. Yeah.
Yeah. They were really good tacos. They were not pricey, and they would, it was fast, it was easy, it was consistent, and it was like you couldn't do the same with like, lasagna. There's not going to be, not that that's something you can do on the street, but it's like there are a few other, a hamburger, even though Cheeseburgers in Paradise is a big Jimmy Buffett bit,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be as into that for a number of reasons as I've been conditioned now to these. And maybe a street, if it had been cheeseburgers they were giving us, I would have changed my tune. But that has become to me a very big association.
Ian says, hot lasagna, no plates, make it work. I have been to Cheeseburgers in Paradise a handful of times in Hawaii when I was much younger. Great cheeseburgers. Great.
Well, Mac, you're in paradise.
But not really like a bar snack, not really a bar snack.
No, which I guess when you get right into it, a serious bar snack, like they serve pretzels at Tonga Hut, or they'll have like peanuts. I usually don't get into that stuff. I think, to be fair, something that does not get enough credit are like the lettuce wraps, like
Love
a P.F. Chang's type.
Yeah.
I think you're familiar. Would be very much a Mac and I went to P.F. Chang's a lot years ago. It was when this pandemic is over and restaurants are open and we can hang out again, we will probably start recording there.
We'll be
That's the dream. With roughly $2,000 worth of recording equipment. Maybe half that.
Everything.
Just on the table and 50 plates.
When we were, so two years ago, we were trying to open a tiki bar here in Southern California. And one of the things that we had on the menu were Tiki-Os, which we had come up with, which were like panko crusted.
Careful. If this is a great idea, maybe keep it. But what do we said?
Fine.
We're going to bless the community.
Yeah. They were pineapple rings that were like panko and coconut crusted, if I'm remembering right, and then fried. And oh my God, Tiki-Os, bro. Tiki-Os.
Did you ever make them, or was this just like a...
They were fire. Yeah.
I believe that.
They're amazing.
That's great. Something about fried it permeated tiki culture and is great. I think it's partly with the drinks themselves, which I have to admit do not kill my appetite the way that some liquor, some cocktails, like martinis, give themselves a different type of food that goes with them. And like scotch, you might as well drink, or like whiskey is like potatoes and steak, and like that sort, like a steakhouse environment is very much martinis, scotch, and whatnot. But tiki drinks, it can go with a number of foods, except lasagna. I will not allow it.
Yeah. And the last thing I got from Cali Tiki, who, if you guys aren't familiar with him, go follow him. He's great. Him and Blake and Stuff, who did this. Cali Tiki came up with it. Blake and Stuff created it and made it. But they did this Bob Kano that was just excellent. They made a Bob Kano mug. They came with a little Bob Kano shot glass, and it was
that
great.
Sounds fun.
It's super. I was super upset that I didn't get my hands on one, but really, really great. Anyways.
Maybe someday. Maybe a viewer will send it after seeing this, saying he deserves to add one to that shelf behind him. We're not too proud to beg.
Cali Tiki asks, is Geeky Tiki Tiki?
Yeah, it's in the name. I think that's... I don't want to disenfranchise any brand that's trying to further a sort of good idea. I think they've had some great mugs in the past. I think I may own one.
You're drinking out.
Sure. What's that?
You're drinking out of one.
Yes, I am.
I just
completely
warehouse
down to look at it.
Yeah. I just found that out like a couple weeks ago when I was.
That's wild. So there you go. And it is just a barrel, which to me is a great, one of my favorite tiki mug shapes, because it's easy to clean and it's simple and it just
Yeah.
It's minimalist in a sense, which I still kind of cotton towards. But Geeky Tiki's, yeah. Some of the, if you can make it as they do in the Tiki style, which is the carved wood and whatnot of the character and whatnot, count it.
Agreed. Um, yeah. I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily picking up a bunch of their stuff, but I definitely appreciate it. And especially coming from me, if you check out my art on Instagram, it's like half of my shit is just other stuff that I've tried to tikify in some way or another. So, you know, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the tikification.
I mean, it's a direction, and especially with the connectivity of everybody with social networking, we have been able to witness the art and the choices of so many other people in this industry, in this movement, that wouldn't have been possible in the 30s and any year before the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, totally.
So I will always applaud those efforts if somebody wants to make a swing like that.
Agreed. And he's a really nice guy. He came into my shop when I was working at Firestone a couple times when he was still in the process of putting his shop together up in Hollywood, I think is where it was. I never popped in there. I think it's closed now due to COVID. And I think he was like inside of another shop, maybe a candy store or something. Um,
Cool.
like own little section, which I think was pretty cool. But he
Yeah.
was building that when he had come in, and we had kind of chatted about it a couple times. But he was a really nice guy. I really like that guy.
He sounds great.
Yeah, couldn't tell you his name. Sorry.
Maybe we're
Sorry.
sponsored by him now. Hard to say. I wanted to say, because not only, I mean, we're still talking, or I'm talking to something, but I do not see any feed of questions. I do not know who has joined and who has left or whatever else. It's on you to field any questions that are coming up.
We're
I
good.
don't know what happened, but I got a question.
Z said that it was in Suite on Hollywood and Highland. Thank you, Z. Yeah,
That's a wild store.
I never went in there. I want to.
It's very much like Willy Wonka plus just, it's kind of Willy Wonka, but without, you can't eat the walls, but everything else pretty much.
Where does it rank in terms of the what's the name of the one at Universal?
At Universal, it is more candy like, I would say. It
Wow.
is somehow, because they'll have like a car made out of M&Ms or like sweet tarts, just like a sculpture, just sitting over there asking to get eaten.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it's a weird ride.
Love it.
I recommend going.
What I'm here for. I think they have since closed.
You hate to see it. I think the world needs candy more than ever now.
Fact. Big facts.
I had one question or a statement. I don't know. It didn't have a question mark, but I had specifically said no statements, just questions in my story when I was, and our good friend Emma asked or said when I asked, do you have anything you want to know with Tiki? Instagram podcasts, which I don't know if it's a dig or not, but I'm going to pretend that it's not. I'm going to pretend she was sincere with it.
Sound like fighting words.
Oh, I was stewing for a while, Mac. For like 18 hours, just silently furious. But then I thought about it more, and I was like, I think this one is.
Is it?
So there's one. I think it is. I'd give it to us.
I think so. We're at least adjacent.
Yeah. I would say on a scale of 1 to 1,000, we're at least a 501.
At least just over half there.
Just making it. It's a passing grade.
Hey, D's get degrees, bro.
Yeah. If you're going to take anything away from this podcast, take that away.
Your brother asks, is Florida Tiki?
So I was, prior to this podcast, reading about that and how certain elements, it's very much like vacay, it's not specifically tiki due to a lacking of certain factors like the actual wood sculptures or the, presence of other elements that are very much continental US in their origins, which are like the structures that they would build certain bars out of because the people in Florida the indigenous people had built out of those, and that was what they had then not appropriated, but used as an inspiration for a number of bars, restaurants, whatever there. So I would say no, not decisively tiki on its own. Florida is not tiki. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not tiki. The Tampa Bay Bucks make a decent case by being pirates, but it's
Tom
only
Brady
higher
is
on.
not tiki.
Tom Brady's not. No, Tom Brady is our goat's tiki.
That one's not.
So I don't want to pick sides in any NFL debates. That's a different podcast that we should also look into. But Florida itself, on its own, I don't think is distinctly tiki any more than another sort of coastal state like Louisiana with New Orleans, or even like California was the birthplace of tiki, but all of California does not qualify as tiki.
Absolutely. I did, Val and I did pick up, so Taylor's birthday, our good buddy, Chief Tiki Tay, his birthday was in December. And so we had picked him up a mug that I found that was the Florida skunk ape, which is an urban legend. The mug looks like a Bigfoot wrestling an alligator, like holding its jaws open, and it says Florida skunk ape at the bottom, and it's just fabulous. Fabulous.
That sounds insane.
I'll have to get a picture from him.
I would
send to you.
Like to see a picture of that because I think I'm picturing it. I don't know how that becomes something you drink out of.
The holes in like the back, like this area.
Right. And
Good.
then the alligator is over here.
He's just kind of holding it. I'll get you the picture. I'll put it up on this. I'll put it up on my story so everyone can see it.
Good. We're gonna need that.
And your brother asks, is Lamar Jackson tiki?
Is Lamar the MVP of 2019 from the Baltimore Ravens and the current? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
What, like no disrespect to him. He's just, he's great. He's a wonderful person. But it's a degree of like, no.
Right. Mike, no.
It's tough. NFL, when you get into the players themselves, maybe one might be more tiki. Maybe there's a Dolphins player, or maybe there's
Tiki Barber.
Fuck. Okay, there's one. Yeah. It's just that sport doesn't really lend itself to decisively being what we're kind of talking about. I love Lamar Jackson. He's fantastic. But he's not tiki, it's not a bad thing either. Like, I want that to be clear.
Yeah, no knock. Just not tiki.
Not tiki. If anything, prove us wrong.
All right, I think that was all the questions that I had gotten. Should we go to everybody's favorite segment of the show?
Wait, which do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, Jeff, this segment is the MILF segment.
Oh, yes.
What is a mug you'd like to fill?
MYLF.
MILF. MILF.
Well, it's suddenly Chris Walken saying MILF.
Mouth. Got MILF.
A
little
one
bored.
for me. I don't. Should have been more prepared for this. I guess because we're doing it every time, I should have better answers for this. From, you know, if you have one, you can go first. Otherwise, I would say,
Well, I was going to, and I've thrown this up on my Instagram before, but it is one that I've been thinking about a lot recently. And if I had some more space here, or really someone to kind of show me the ropes of mug making, I'd probably make this. But I had made this shark's tooth flask
oh my goodness.
that
Wow.
I really want to drink out of. That is a
That's pretty
mug
great.
I would like to fill.
That's great.
Bummy LaRue here says we need a Christopher Walken mug.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There. That's my vote. I mean, I was going to say something about a piranha, but they kind of have that at Trader Sam's and Disney, and it's very good. I would just, yeah, you know it. It's great. That's exactly what it should look like. Chris Walken in just like his head, body in a Hawaiian in an Aloha shirt,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it, and maybe like his hand. I don't know where his hands would be, but just like his torso and head, and you drink out of that would be great.
I think he's holding a mug of the mug that he is.
Of himself that you're in.
Yeah.
And then that one has a smaller, just keeps going on for ad infinitum.
Yeah. It's the Infinity Walken mug.
Infinity Walken. That's a mug. He's got like pineapples on his shirt. It's very like kind of simple, but it's that's the biz.
And maybe each version of the mug is like a different one of his different one of his characters from a movie. So it's all just different infinite Walkens.
They're so tiny by the end when you get to Sleepy Hollow. After
well, the mug starts.
the others.
It's a big mug.
Oh, it's one of my like the dinosaur football I
It's
had.
like a dinosaur mug, yes.
He deserves it. He deserves that sort of treatment, fame, and celebration. I'm into that.
All right.
Dropping more good ideas for the creative types who watch this and then just profit off of it. We won't sue. We just want to own it.
We just give it to us and sponsor us.
And then sponsor us.
By Christopher Walken.
It's fun. Next week, we will discuss, is Chris Walken Tiki?
Yeah. Ooh, yes. Love it. Love it.
I think there's a case to be made either way. And what score would he get? He's not getting a full 1,000. Or he might. We'll see.
Well, you got to tune in next week.
Next week and find out.
We've just popped over the hour mark. You got any shout outs? You want to shout out anybody?
No.
Hell no. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to shout out. Trent had given us the most things to discuss here besides your brother. Thank you, Mikey.
Yeah.
But his podcast, Another Shitty Podcast, just got some really great merch. I got myself this great Another Shitty Podcast hat.
Man.
It's
That's a
killer.
great hat.
It's a quality hat.
When you put it on, it looked quality.
Woo! Look out. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ask them.
That's great.
Hat. We'll get some Is This Hat Tiki hats.
It matches your shirt so well.
It does. I didn't realize that.
That it's like alarming how well this worked. I will shout out anyone from, Jeff Granito is a great one to follow if you want to look into.
Jeff Granito.
Yeah, great Tiki artist to look into. Geeky Tiki, Mondo News, all
Nice.
great stuff. Tiki Tea over in East LA, great tiki bar. We'll get all into these people later on, but here's some that just deserve recognition, are great, are furthering something that we're all talking about, cracking jokes wise.
Yep.
But they create good stuff.
They really do.
And of course, Tonga Hut, where I got this guy.
Can't wait to get back there, man. Ready for it.
Me too. And so many others.
Mm-hmm.
The first day that opens, I don't think I can be there because it will be, I want to say roughly 1,500 people all just in line to go. And I'm just going to skip it for a week. We live close enough. We're lucky.
You know what we should do is the day they open, go there, but don't necessarily go in, but we can podcast from the line.
Where they're holding $1,200 worth of equipment. Mac, my arms are tired.
And then also wanted to shout out Ian and Robert with the Radio Wastelands podcast. Again, check me out on there. This coming Tuesday. It's coming Tiki Tuesday. Talking about ska music and horror movies and Tiki and all that jazz. So
I'll be here. I'll be tuning in.
Good dudes, super supportive. So I definitely appreciate the hell out of them.
Yeah, that is great.
Otherwise, I think this was episode 2. Yeah,
I think we killed it once again.
I think we killed it.
I hope people learned a lot about Tiki. I hope whatever questions I'm going to get now, we'll answer in the next episode. So please hit me up. Feel free to be rude, or don't. Please don't be rude.
Yep. Maybe.
Again, Mac, I can't see what people are saying. This is, as we joked before, I didn't want to be distracted by questions. Then all of a sudden, Instagram decided you won't be.
Shut up, Jeff. No more you.
And suddenly, I miss it a lot. Like I feel very out of the loop.
All you missed was Val waved, and I think she's mad at me for not telling her that I'm doing the podcast next week. And Z put a heart that she clicked.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, great. It's great.
Okay, so a good amount.
Yeah. You missed a lot. Stuff. You missed a lot.
I did, clearly.
All
right. Work better next time.
Well, episode 2. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and if you're tuning in after the fact, and I'm gonna try and figure out how to get these up on Apple and Spotify and all that jazz sometime soon. Otherwise, it should be up on YouTube by tomorrow at the latest. So
tune in and enjoy it there.
Yeah.
Push play and lock your phone or whatever.
Or whatever.
I don't know if that even works. I think it turns off the YouTube.
It definitely don't do that. It turns us off.
So you could figure something out.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Captain Sieber.
Hey, Mac, thank you.
My man. And we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, mates.